Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Venerable Chief Naika Hamdaro and Venerable Sirs, friends and children in the Dhamma, welcome for our Saturday regular Dhamma talks. Today we are continuing with the series of Dhamma talks based on the 37 Enlightenment factors. And today, the second part of the Eightfold Noble Path, Ariyamagga. And this topic we began last week and we completed the factors of Samadhi, Samma Sankappa, Samma Vacha and Samma Kammanta. We completed 4 factors out of these Eightfold Noble Path, and today we are intending to complete the rest of the 4 factors of the Eightfold Noble Path. Samma Ajiva, part of the Sila, part of the group which indicates the virtue, the morality, together with Samma Vacha, Samma Kammanta, right speech and right action. These 2 noble factors are not completed if the livelihood, if the way one is living is wrong. Because on the surface level, the words can be beautiful, the action can be pure, but underneath, in the hidden level, that action can cause misery for others. So to avoid any sort of wrong way of living or making one's living in such a manner that generate misery for others, suffering for others, harm for others, Lord Buddha has introduced an honest, harmless, innocent way of making the life or making one's earnings. So for the laity, for the lay community, householders who worked hard on making their living and making money, wealth, for the prosperity, for the life or the living of their beloved ones, Buddha says your earning must be harmless for anyone, for any other living being. Therefore, you should avoid any sort of trades, any sort of businesses related to trading animals for slaughter, dealing in weapons, slaves, poison and intoxicants. If someone were to earn money and it seems these harmful occupations can generate better money, quicker money than earning the money out of peaceful and harmless professions. But that money that one earns with harmful methods will never become a blessing for himself or for others. That money itself is a curse that one may have to pay back in grave methods, in grave manner. I have seen people who earns their living with wrong methods. They end up in misery, a greater misery, and that money is gone for based on sometimes the sicknesses of their children, disastrous events in their families. That money is just evaporated. That money will never become beneficial. And those people who try to earn their living, like trafficking drug, and are never to enjoy that money, but they end up imprisoned in the cells for life. So the earning your money in a harmless, honest, legal manner is vital for you to complete the sila in the Eightfold Noble Path. Samma Ajiva is for such a purpose, to make sure that one's earning is honest and harmless, without deceiving anyone, without harming anyone. So Samma Ajiva, right livelihood. This factor completes the sila, the category of sila in the Eightfold Noble Path, together with Samma Vacha, right speech, Samma Kammanta, right action, and then comes the right livelihood. The next factor is Samma Vayama, right effort. Now, this effort is basically about meditation. It is about developing, enhancing one's concentration and awareness. Meditation is usually to happen with a deliberate effort. Meditation is not to happen for a lazy. It is not something natural. You have to put yourself into that practice with a kind of an effort. You must need an effort to initiate it, to continue it until you find a static result, a permanent result. So samma vayama, right effort or the energy, is basically, we have to keep in mind, in the Buddha's vision, right effort is the effort for meditation. What happens in the meditation? In the meditation, one stops committing oneself for the evil deeds. He is totally or fully aware of the evil, unwholesome, demeritorious events. This awareness lead him to not to engage in those unwholesome, evil, verbal or physical deeds. And he also encouraged by his awareness to be engaged in the wholesome, meritorious performances. So to avoid evil and to engage in nobility, in the good deeds, is the outcome of being aware. It is a byproduct of being mindful. Now, when one's awareness and mindfulness develops, there is a natural effort also to arise in him to suppress the evil that has not arisen so far. Anupannanang papakanang akusalanang dhammanang anupadaya chandang janete vayamate viryang arabhate chittang pagganhati padhati. His effort is not to allow those unwholesome, evil tendencies that has not arisen in him to suppress them, to avoid any opportunities for them to arise. He has to put a certain effort on it. So since he is aware that unwholesome leads for misery, unwholesome leads for suffering, because of this awareness, he has the desire to suppress the evil tendencies that has not arisen yet, not to allow them to arise, is the first effort. The second effort is uppannanang akusalanang dhammanang pahanaya Chandang janeti vayamati viryang arabhati chittang pagganhati padahati. His second effort is to destroy, eliminate the arisen, unwholesome, evil tendencies in him. Knowing that I have these wrong attitudes, I have these unwholesome behaviors, I have this bad side in me. Knowing that I have these weaknesses for doing evil, unwholesome deeds, he avoids the ways to increase, and he finds the ways to suppress them, to remove them, to eliminate them. So he works hard. The first thing is, he knows that I have these unwholesome qualities. I must get rid of them. If I allow them to flourish, if I allow them to continue, I'm going to be in misery. So he tries his best to get rid of them. This is the second effort. The third effort is uppannanang kusalanang dhammanang bhiyo bhavaya chandang janeti vayamati viryang arabhati chittang pagganhati padahati. He tries his best to develop, to augment whatever wholesomeness, nobility, goodness that has arisen in him. Whatever goodness, whatever good qualities you have, those good qualities must be developed. It is like putting more fuel, gas on a already burning, already lighted fire. That fire burning brighter, greater within you as you put more gas into it, more fuel into it. In the same way, once you found that I have this beautiful quality in me, you must put more gas, fuel, more encouragement, more intentional enforcements into it for that fire to light brighter, greater in you. Otherwise, that light is bound to vanish little by little. You will be in utter darkness. Therefore, when there is a good quality, you must be aware of it, and you must put your best effort to get to develop it. The fourth one is anupannanang kusalanang dhammanang upadaya chandang janeti vayamati viryang arabhati chittang pagganhati padahati. As you know that I don't have this good quality, then that awareness must be developed, must be enforced, equipped with the wisdom to allow that unarisen goodness to arise in you. Now, two efforts to stop the arising of the unarisen evilness, to eradicate the arisen evilness. That is the left side of the effort. The right side of the effort is to arouse the unarisen wholesomeness, to augment the arisen wholesomeness. Now, either side of these efforts is enough for the other side to arise naturally. When you suppress and remove the evil tendencies, the wholesome tendencies naturally arise. When you strengthen and encourage the wholesome tendencies within you, naturally there is a suppression, elimination of the unwholesomeness. So either side of the effort is good. It is like when the room is in darkness, you bring the light in. You won't find darkness anymore. As long as there is no light in the room, there is darkness. Now, for both of these efforts to happen, the first thing is what? You have to be aware of what you have and what you don't have. If you are aware that I have these bad qualities, not somebody told you, but you yourself aware. I have these bad qualities, I don't have these good qualities. This awareness is the beginning point of putting effort to suppress the bad qualities and encourage the good qualities to arise. But this is the hard part. This is the difficult point. To be aware of yourself. It is like if you haven't brushed your teeth, everybody else around you knows that you haven't brushed your teeth, but you don't know. Your nose doesn't feel, doesn't sense dirtiness, unbrushed, bad smelling, your mouth. Nose is so close to the mouth, still that nose doesn't know when the mouth is unbrushed, when the mouth is bad smelling. Others know, you don't know. This is in the same manner. The good and the bad qualities in us, we are not aware, we are not mindful. We do not reflect on them wisely. Therefore, we are unaware of our goodness, good qualities. So they bound to diminish because we don't nourish them. And we are unaware of our bad qualities. So they bound to increase and develop because we are not putting any effort to get rid of them. So the effort, right effort, two sides. If you put an effort on one of the sides, the other side is naturally to develop. Natural to develop. Right effort. Then comes the right sati, right mindfulness, right awareness. Samma sati. Samma means usually noble or right. Now, mindfulness, how does it become Samma? Because mindfulness is not something that we have to borrow from others, that we have to take from outside and put in. Mindfulness, sati, is a mental factor that we already have. Every living being has this mindfulness. You remove mindfulness out of our mind, we cannot do anything in the world. You cannot listen what I say. You cannot do anything basically, because mindfulness is something must be there for our mind to be aware of anything. But that mindfulness is not samma. It is one of the 52 mental factors within us. What is the mindfulness which is samma? The samma comes in when the mindfulness helps you to eliminate your unwholesome defilements from you. When that mindfulness cleans your being, cleans your mind, when that mindfulness opens your mind to the truth, to the reality, that is the samma mindfulness. Now, usually this mindfulness is to apply when it is with the samma as samma sati. It is to apply for 4 areas of life, 4 areas of every one of us. Those 4 areas are the body, which every one of us has, this fathom long body. Then the sensations, the feelings that arise in the body, other than the bone structure, teeth, nails, hair, all over the body, there is a certain feeling all the time. But our mind is not so acute, not so sharp to witness all those feelings. Our minds experience only the gross, hard, painful feelings, or strong, pleasant feelings, not subtle feelings. But the fact is, this whole body is full of feelings. Each particle of our body generates a feeling. The problem is that our mind is not sharp enough to observe this. Vedananupassana, observe that every feeling arise moment to moment, vanish moment to moment. Then the second factor to observe, or second factor to be mindful, is the feelings. Now these feelings are totally related to the mind. The thoughts that arise are basically related to these feelings. Feelings are the root of these thoughts. Thoughts do not arise without feelings. Therefore, every thought, every mind contains a certain feeling. Feeling is there. Either a pleasant feeling, sukha vedana, unpleasant feeling, dukkha vedana, or adukkama sukha vedana, a neutral feeling. Each mind contains, followed or arise together with a feeling. That is the nature of the mind. So the mind is the third factor to be mindful. And the fourth one is mental factors, Dhammanupassana, which is the hardest, yet with the developed mindfulness you can observe from the gross level, from the most obvious level, which is the body, and then the feelings, then the mind, and even the subtlemost factor, most elusive, most oblivious, difficult to see, mental factors. Mind, mental factors, body, feelings. These are the contents of our life. There is body, feelings are there, mind, mental factors are there. These are the contents of our life. Now Lord Buddha teaches us to observe these four factors of the life with wisdom. The wisdom is that all these factors of life must be observed in the triple characteristics. Based on the triple characteristics, we call in Pali Tilakkhana, triple characteristics. They are anicca, they are dukkha, and they are no self. Impermanent, suffering, and no self, anatta. Anicca, dukkha, anatta. Impermanent, suffering, and non-self. Our vision, our observation on these four factors must be based on these triple characteristics. When we observe these factors of life, four factors of life, based on these, there won't be attachment, there won't be hostility for anything in the life. Because these four factors represent everything in life. All of your experiences, all of your parts and parcels of your life are represented by these four factors: body, feelings, mind, mental factors. These are the representatives of everything in your life. You don't have anything else other than these four. So when you observe these, any of the area related to this life, either the body, the feelings that arise in it, the mind, and the mental factors arise in the mind. When you observe it, based on that they are impermanent, that they are misery. Why misery? Because they are impermanent. And if they are impermanent and misery, where can be a soul in it? Where can be a possession? How can you possess it? No self, anatta. You cannot possess it. You cannot apply I, my, me there. They are just occurrences. They are just happenings. Now this is the way one develops the sati. This sati will not generate attachment for anything pleasurable, pleasant that is happening to you. Also, there is no hostility. There is no attack. There is no any kind of aversion within you for anything which is happening unpleasant to you. There is an absolute equilibrium within you for whatever is happening, whether it is pleasant or unpleasant. Despite being the differences, you are totally upekkha, equanimous, because it doesn't matter whether it is pleasant or unpleasant. They are impermanent. His wisdom doesn't allow him to be attached or to averse them, to be hostile towards them, because everything bound to change. If I am to be attached or hostile towards them, I am just generating misery for me. It is bound to change. There is no point being attached or being hostile towards anything which is bound to change. This is the Samma Sati. Samma Sati, right mindfulness. Then comes the last factor, Samma Samadhi, right concentration. Now, concentration is twofold. Lokiya Samadhi, concentration related to the world. Lokuttara Samadhi, concentration related to the supramundane. Both of these concentrations are there. Now, Samma Samadhi doesn't has anything to do with the Lokiya Samadhi. Concentration belongs to the world. Samma Samadhi is the concentration that helps one to attain Nibbana, Lokuttara Samadhi. Now, as I said that Samadhi, Samatha, Sati. As I said that Sati is something we all have. Everybody has certain kind of awareness. So also the Samadhi. Concentration. It is something even an animal has. A bird has this concentration. Yeah. Concentration is to focus your mind to a singular object. Have you seen a cat waiting patiently at a small hole? So patient, so focused, absolutely focused on that small hole, waiting for the rat to come out. Concentration is there, even in an animal. But it is not always Samma Samadhi. It is not even can be said that a noble or a virtuous kind of Samadhi. So Samma Samadhi is a Samadhi which is developed for the purpose of attaining Nibbana, for the purpose of understanding or enlightening upon the truth. So Samadhi, the concentration, it is fourfold. The first jhana, the second jhana, the third jhana, and fourth jhana. This is the category we find in the suttas. The first jhana. It has the factors of vitakka, vichara, sukha, ekaggata. Vitakka is to apply, the initial apply. We call it the initial application, vitakka. It is to sit upright and bring your mind to a certain object, certain selected object. What do we call in Pali? The kammatthana, the work field of meditation. There are a number of objects are there. Yeah. In Buddhism, in the Theravada Buddhism, there are 40 objects of meditation. You select one of them and bring your mind to that object, or bring that object to your mind. Now, ignoring or forgetting the rest of the world, your aim, your focus is on that particular selected object. That is to vitakka, initially applying the mind onto the object, initial application. Then the second stage, you apply your mind there and let the mind do not be distracted. You don't let the mind run away from that object. Like a bee coming onto a flower and hanging around that flower, buzzing above that flower. Your mind is buzzing above that selected object. This is vichara. You don't let the mind go away from that selected object. You force yourself for that mind to stay there with the object. Vitakka vichara, this is the function of the meditation. This is the function. You get a select, you yourself get a object and you put your attention on that object and let the attention last as long as it is possible. Continue to maintain your attention on that object. When you are continuously developing this attention, there must be some assistances. The first assistant is sukha. The piti, the happiness. You must be happy about that object. Your mind must be joyful, happy about that object. If your mind rejects that object, naturally you cannot concentrate on it. So you must generate some happiness on that object. That is piti. Sukha is that naturally there must be physical well-being within you. Physical zest, joyfulness must be there. Mentally and physically happy, piti and sukha. Then the last one is ekaggata, concentrated. When these factors of vitakka, vichara, piti, sukha, ekaggata, these 5 factors, when they are contained, when they come into a balanced state, we call it the first jhana. First jhana. First mode of concentration. Now, when somebody attains to this first jhana, after attaining to it, he can apply the observation on the factors of the jhana based on the characteristics of anicca, dukkha, anatta. Now he has attained to a certain stage of jhana, development in concentration. Now this developed state of his mind is observed, is looked at based on the facts that this state of development, the factors of the development are impermanent, are bound to change. So if I hold on to them, I will be miserable, and they are not mine, anatta, non-self. When you observe these developed concentration with those factors, with those characteristics, anicca, dukkha, anatta, you are shifting from the concentration to vipassana, insight. Shifting from samadhi to vipassana. Now this development of vipassana based on the development of your jhana can help you to attain one of the supramundane states of Sotapanna, Sakadagami, Anagami, Arahant. So Samadhi is supporting for vipassana to arise, and that vipassana will lead that person to the stages of enlightenment. Therefore, Samma Samadhi is that Samadhi. The Samadhi that arises in you supporting for vipassana to arise, and in turn for the stages of enlightenment to arise. Now these are the 8 factors of the Eightfold Noble Path. Now these 8 factors are divided into 3 categories. That is Sila, Samadhi and Panya. For the Sila, Samma Vacha, Samma Kammanta, Samma Ajiva. Right speech, right action, right livelihood. For Samadhi, Samma Vayama, right effort, Samma Sati, right awareness, mindfulness, and Samma Samadhi, right concentration. These 3 factors represent Samadhi, and Samma Sati, Samma Sankappa represent the Panya, wisdom. Sila, Samadhi, Panya, the Trisiksha, 3 kinds of training, triple training in Buddhism. Now in Majjhima Nikaya we can find this. Venerable Bhikkhuni Dhammadinna explains this to the lay follower called Vishaka, that these 8 factors in the Eightfold Noble Path are actually explaining this triple training, Trisiksha, Sila, Samadhi, Panya. Or Buddha wanted to explain the way of practicing, way of developing Trisiksha by using Eightfold Noble Path. So the main purpose of this Eightfold Noble Path is to help to educate the factors belonging to the Trisiksha, Sila, Samadhi, Panya. The triple mode in the development of one's spiritual background for enlightenment. So when somebody develops Sila, he has to develop the Sila based on the Samma Vacha, Samma Kammanta, Samma Ajiva. When somebody develops Samadhi, Samma Vayama, Samma Sati, Samma Samadhi must be there. And when develops Panya, wisdom, Samma Sati, Samma Ditti, Samma Sankappa, right view and right intention. So Eightfold Noble Path is actually are the factors that contain these triple trainings or Trisiksha, Sila, Samadhi, Panya. That's enough for today. And with this, we concluded the 37 enlightenment factors. Next week, we will start a brand new topic and continue our Dhamma talks on every Saturday. Please join with us from 6 to 7 via Facebook and YouTube of New Jersey Buddhist Vihara. Let's share all these merits together with our departed ones and the Devas. Akasattha cha bummatta devanaga mahiddhika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkhantu loka sasanang. Akasattha cha bummatta devanaga mahiddhika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkhantu loka sasanang. Akasattha cha bummatta devanaga mahiddhika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkhantu loka sasanang. Idamme ñātinang hotu sukhita hontu ñātayo. Idang me ñātinang hotu sukhita hontu ñātayo. Idang me ñātinang hotu sukhita hontu ñātayo. Blessings for you. Dukkha roga bhaya vera soka sabbe upaddava anekantaraya pi vinassantu ca tejasa. Jaya siddhi dhanang labhang satti bhagyam sukham balang siriyayu ca vanno ca bhogam buddhi ca yasava satavassa ca ayu ca jiva siddhi bhavantu te ayurarogya sampatti sagga sampatti mevaca ato nibbana sampatti iminate samijjatu. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Wish you all good night.